Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream or step or journey, you can do more with a partner that cares about your dreams. Access, more than banking.
Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to another exciting moment when we enlighten you, we empower you, we inform you, we educate you about investment, about finances, and about life generally. Abayomi Obabulujo is my name. Please, you will do me a favor, call a friend, call a family member, call a colleague. Let them tune into this platform right now, because it is going to be another explosive session on air. So we have two major segments today. Last week I did say to you that I'm going to be playing host to a program which I call Youth in Leadership and Exploits Conference 2021, the very first edition of such. And so I have with me already two of the guest speakers, and we're going to be looking at some of the highlights of the program together. Why are we converging? The problem of this country as we are is leadership. That is the gospel truth. If you see a state that is not moving forward, it is all about leadership. If you see a family that is not moving forward, it is all about leadership. If you see an enterprise that is not moving forward, it is all about leadership. If you see a country that is not moving forward, it is all about leadership. You see, in Nigeria, we do get it wrong. Every youth cannot end up as footballer or a sports person or the other one, engaging in one sporting activity or the other. But what we have learned to do is to catch them young, playing football. How many of us can play football? At any point in time, you don't have more than 22 people on the field. Maybe added to the referee and the linesman, or assistant referee, as you may want to call. They are often referred to these days. How many people? But you see, ultimately, every sports person, if they do not understand leadership and they do not understand, eventually will die poor and irrelevant in destiny. So in Nigeria, we do catch them young, how to run, how to play table tennis, how to play football, and all sorts. All right. And upon all, Nigeria has no rating in the global space of footballing or sports. Olympic has just ended. Aside from the Paralympics, how many goals have we got? But you see, I went to a quoted company that I know so well sponsors footballing activities. And I sold to them how we can catch the youth, the kids in our secondary schools, even higher institutions, how we can begin to sell investment ideas to them. You know what they told me? They said their global body does not support that kind of vision. And I looked at that organization very well, and I told myself, Abayomi Obabulujo is never going to approach them for anything anymore. All right? They are still listed on the floor of the stock exchange. When they release their report, I talk about it. I'm not biased because I don't owe any quoted company anything. I don't even have my obligation to the regulators. I owe you, the public, all my responsibilities and obligations. What I want to do is to be sincere. I don't hate any institution. I don't hate any individual. But I want to give out information that can guide you, that can lead you. I left them But on my own, by the grace of God, if you will venture to participate, we can move this nation forward. That is why this event is coming to you this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Youth in Leadership and Exploits. It is now that we should begin to sell their ideas to these young ones, how they can become a CEO at age 30 and below. I became a CEO at about 28, despite the fact that I was born poor. Okay? And I tell you, I've had crises, I've had challenges in business. At 52, I'm still forging ahead. Why? I started early. And I had my challenges within the age bracket whereby I can still come out of it. If I didn't start early and then gathering the experiences and learning how to climb from the bottom, I might not be able to survive the kind of crisis and challenges that I faced in the course of my growing in business. All right? So today I have with me two experts as far as I'm concerned. The first is Mr. Adedeji Ajadi. Mr. Adedeji Ajadi is an investment expert, and for goodness sake, he was or he is the immediate past registrar, Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers. We are bringing him because he has coordinated the institute concerning the Nigerian capital market for close to 9 years, if I'm not mistaken. Is himself a chartered fellow in some other institutes aside from the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers. He can guide you. He can guide your children. He can guide the young ones on how to become a professional. He's going to be talking there. He's here with us in the studio. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And I also have with me a gentleman. He's very gentle. He doesn't talk. He's quiet. But again, you need to listen to Dr. Vincent Arifalu. He is a medical doctor, trained medical doctor. I know him in the capital market. He's an investor. We made money together in stocks. We lost money together in stock. He's also a pastor, and I know at the time he writes for Stocks Watch Weekly, and the focus was on purpose. Dr. Arifalu.
Good evening, sir. So glad to be here, sir.
Dr. Arifalu is going to be with us on Friday, and then Mr. Ajadi is one of the three fellows that will be speaking to us on Saturday. I will go on a short break. When I return from that short break, we will be doing a little synopsis as to what is going to be the experience Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week and Sunday of next week. All right? I will be right back.
Fair Havens Christian Center presents Youth in Leadership and Exploits Conference 2021. Theme: Emerging a Leader and Financial Giant. Speakers include Vincent Arifalo, Olumide Adeleye, Adeolu Akinyemi, Adedeji Ajadi. Date: Friday 24th to Sunday 26th September 2021. Venue: Chapel of Importation, Fair Havens Christian Center, 95 Ipaja Road, Shofunde Bus Stop, Okekoto, Agege, Lagos. Time: 6 p.m. on Friday, 11 a.m. on Saturday, 9 a.m. on Sunday. Come and learn how to emerge a financial giant in the new age. Powered by Fair Havens Christian Center.
Welcome back. So the first question should be to Mr. Adedeji Ajay. Sir, how did you become a chartered fellow, either of accounting or banking and CIS? How did the journey start? Very important.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What was the motivation?
You know, growing up and when we were in the university, especially, it started really from when we were in the university. You know, in the room, some of us friends, colleagues would talk. Particularly, I had a friend, Remy, was his name, in my room, and you know, we would say, look, I was studying agriculture, I would say, yes, we are studying agriculture, but you know, we are going to be in the financial sector. We used to say it jokingly. Look, we will write ICANN exam and we would become...
There was no correlation.
There was no correlation.
Oh, how did the motivation come?
Yeah, we just
So
felt...
at that age, how old were you at that time?
I must have been about 19. I entered university at 16.
In other words, your motivation to become a professional came at about the age of 19.
18, 19, yeah.
You were still telling us how the motivation came. How did it come about, sir?
Seriously, I knew that professionalism was getting more pronounced at that time. You know, we knew that people who were professionals, the lawyers, the engineers, the accountants were doing well. And so I said, look, no matter what, even after my degree, we are going to get a professional certification. One of the closest ones to us then was in accounting. So we used to say it jokingly, you know. I said, look, we'll write ICANN. The other people will say, go and be writing your ICANN, you know. And then I studied a course in my 5th year. We call it farm management. In that farm management, they teach you a little bit of accounting, balance sheet and analysis. So when I studied that course, and I also, so from financial information, you can actually analyze and determine that your company is doing well or not doing well. You can know what is wrong. You can know how to improve on it. I said, wow, I love this. So by the time we finished, honestly, I was already primed to go into accountancy. So that was the motivation.
I'm coming back to ask you further question. And the question will be, how long did it take you between that period and when you eventually became chartered? But let me put the question to Dr. Arifalu. Sir, you are a medical doctor by training. Did you ever practice as a medical doctor?
Yes, I practiced for about 6 years before I finally decided that I think life is more than just medical practice. At least for me, you know, I think it's important to explore, you know. I think we're all gifted differently, and we can't just live our lives like, you know, like everybody, like others live. Everybody has to come to a point of awareness where you know the direction that your life should take.
Sir, how did you come to that consciousness? Very important.
Yeah.
At what age did you come to that consciousness?
I would say early on, based on exposure to mentors and people around me, and of course curiosity of looking around and talking to people generally. I think my mind began to open to the possibility of living a different kind of life and really exploring life. Because for me, I felt at a very young age that life is so short that I can't just live my life based on what people tell me. You know, for example, I studied medicine, and looking back on my life, maybe I could have done something else instead of, you know, once you're brilliant in our environment, once you're good academically, your parents say, study medicine, law, pharmacy, and things like that, professional courses. But for me, I came to a point that I realized that life is more than just a professional course. There's a lot of giftings, a lot of potentials inside of people that they need to explore. For me personally, I said, there's much more inside of me. I need to explore. I don't want to live up my life just following the scripts and just doing what parents say to do. So I began to ask questions. I began to talk to people around, and I found that life is, you know, it's like a big world out there. We can explore and we can live our lives to the full.
I'm coming to ask you another question, which is, what is your definition of purpose? I'm coming to ask you that question. Sir, now, how long did it take you between when the prompting, the consciousness of you becoming a professional you, all right, between the period, that consciousness, that interest, all right, came, and the time you eventually bagged your first professional qualification?
Interestingly, it wasn't too long. I left university at 91, went for youth service. I think we came back 93. I was into teaching just for about 10 months. And then somehow, one thing I know is that once you have a vision, a dream, it appears the whole universe actually works to ensure that you achieve that objective. The first person that would call me for a job was an in-law who was running an ICANN training center.
Wow.
When I left the teaching job, I was just, that week I was home, he just visited our house and said, look, we need an admin officer. In the office. And they were an ICANN tuition center, exam professional center in Ibadan. Interestingly, I had already decided many years ago that I wanted to write ICANN. And they said, look, once you work for us as a staff, we give you free lecture materials and all of you don't pay for lectures, no tuition. I said, forget about, in fact, in my mind, I said, forget about salary. I'm going to go for that job. And the way God will have it for me, very unusually, I wrote my ICANN exam, 4 levels, 4 consecutive exams. I just passed in 2 years. Oh. Very, very unusual. And they told me it was not possible. That happened to me.
What can you say was the basic factor behind the success you were able to achieve? In other words, if I'm not mistaken, you left university at about the age of, let us say,
22, 21,
22. You went for youth corps, and let us say by 25, you were already chartered.
25, 26, yeah. That's it.
How did you feel at that age? Because let me tell you sincerely, some of us had not even secured admission to higher institution at that age. You were already a professional. How did you feel?
I was happy. I was excited. But honestly, I had a dream that I needed to change my life. I knew I wanted to succeed at whatever it is I wanted to do. So when I started that ICANN exam, it was with everything. My full focus. I wasn't looking for a job. There were a few job opportunities. Anything that would distract me, I won't take it.
You were fully concentrated.
Absolutely focused on that exam. Absolutely.
Your spirit, your soul, your
everything. Despite I was young, but I was extremely focused on that exam.
You see, I was saying it in the church, incidentally. Was it last Sunday? And as a matter of fact, I said it this Sunday also. I did say, for you to begin a pursuit whereby you can be ensured of success, you must start when there are not many encumbrances. When you are not married, so your wife is not telling you come and eat, when you are supposed to be concentrating, reading, and then studying. Am I correct, sir? And then your kids, the responsibility. Now this is first term in a new session. So the thought of having to look for money to pay school fees, buy uniform, buy textbook, buy exercise book, buy school bag, and look for pocket money, all those thoughts were not there. That is why it is very important that you start the process very early. Yes, I'm coming back to you, Dr. Arifalu. Like I did say, what would be your definition of purpose?
Okay. Purpose is the reason for the creation of a thing. That's the reason behind.
I told you, Dr. Arifalu is so I'm listening.
The reason behind the creation of a thing, and to really define purpose for a human being, you got to believe in God. Because if you believe that you didn't just drop from anywhere, from outer space or from the skies.
What about the people that say they believe in themselves, they believe in their mind?
Well, I remember a class I had years ago in school where my lecturer in botany, I think, it was a botany class. So the lecturer said that there was a primitive environment, that some chemicals just from nowhere came together, and then that was how life began. It didn't make any sense to me even at that time, even though he was a world-renowned professor. So where did the chemical come from? Where did the reaction come from? That there was a reaction and then life started from a reaction. There must be something behind the reaction. So if we're going to define purpose properly, we have to go back and accept the reality that there's a creator somewhere. And if you have, I studied medicine, studying the human body, the complexity of the human body, the complexity of the human brain. I remember sitting in the anatomy class, studying the human brain, and how I marveled at the complexity of the human brain. It blew my mind. So if you accept that, then you need to know that there's a creator out there, and that creator didn't send you to the earth, by mistake. When he created you, he had something in mind. He had a reason why he created you. He had a purpose before he even created you. He didn't create you first of all, and then he didn't say, you know what, let's find something for you to do. He had a purpose in mind first of all. Then he created you to fulfill that purpose, to fill a gap. So it's important for everyone to realize that, or else we can go through all our lives. We can even achieve a whole lot and come to the end of life, and there's still that emptiness, that void, that what we've done is all in vain.
In other words, if I'm getting you right, when one discovers purpose and you move in it, you have a sense of fulfillment.
Yes.
You have joy.
Yes, sure.
You have a sense of satisfaction.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I come to you again. Now, what are the advantages of discovering one's professionality early in life?
Wow.
Yes, sir. King David said, I have been young, now I'm old. I can tell by your bears that you are still young, but you are not the young you that discovered the professional you then.
I am always grateful to God, because I believe it is God that gives that direction or purpose, just like Pastor mentioned. Very early, it just seemed that I just knew the right thing to do, because by the time I started that ICANN exam, I just knew this was it for me. This is what I should be doing. I just knew it. And I thank God that I got that early, because you can imagine if I had to wait for 15, 20 years before I discovered that purpose. So it was so exciting. And from the day I started that, the journey became so fast and rapid for me in everything going forward from that point forward. That shows that God was actually leading me. And I remember my first experience. You know, because the people told me that this exam, there's no way you will pass. You will fail along the line. I remember I was already a child of God. I got born again at 16. So I prayed one day. I said, God, what I read in your word is that with God, all things are possible. Why is it that people said you can't pass the exam? I remember before I wrote my first paper in ICANN, that night, we were reading overnight, and I had a prayer. That is, Lord, let me pass this exam. First time, I don't want to fail this exam. And I will always testify that your hand was in this exam. And I knew God answered my prayer. So I knew God was, it wasn't just me. The grace of God was following me all through that exam. And that I'm sure that is a major reason why I was able to succeed.
Yes, sir. If I will ask you again, what will you say will be the relevance of being a professional in our world now?
Yeah, professionalism confers on you a minimum level of respect, because when you apply for a job, people say, "Are you chartered? Are you qualified?" Automatically, there is already this this impression that for you to be a professional, you have gone through the mills. You've become an expert in your chosen area. Choose an area in life and master that area. And I think that's what this has done. I mean, nobody would go to an hospital where you are not sure there's a qualified medical doctor there. And that's the way we should take our lives. Even if we take a course that we don't generally call professional course, the way you do your things, let it be professional.
Yes, sir.
You can be a driver and drive professionally. People will know the way this guy is driving. It's a different level.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Face the camera, please, and talk to the young people that might be listening or watching us as we speak. Talk to them. The need for them to discover the professional them.
Look, the Bible says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his work, he shall stand before kings and not before men." And what I've seen in life is that it really doesn't matter what you do. When you do it to the highest level of professionalism, you succeed. We were in the university there. There was a man, a lecturer, when I was in the OAU. He was a carver. He didn't go to school originally. He was doing sculpture. I mean, some people will know his name. He didn't even go to school. He is a well-renowned sculptor all over the world. He was given Lamidi Fakayem. He became a professor.
Did you attend Ife too?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you went to Ife. He became a professor. He was just a local sculptor, but the quality of his work, education didn't give it. They saw the quality of what he was doing, and he became a professor. So you could drive, even if it is driving, you do it in such a way with such level of confidence and competence
Proficiency.
that you will succeed in it. So it's not until you become a medical doctor, an engineer, an accountant. Any area of life that you choose, master that area to the extent that you succeed in it, you will be known all over the world for it.
Like my name is Oba Stocks.
Yeah.
And I'm not a charter stock.
when I learned that you are, I've checked your name in my register before. I said the man is even more popular than the people who are stockbrokers, adding more value in that area, much more than people who actually are stockbrokers. That is exactly what you are saying.
Dr. Arifalu, what are the processes of discovering purpose?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's important to start early, at a very young age. You know, I think our educational system, to a large extent, does not have that structure to help people to discover what they can do early. You know, so I think first of all, everybody has got to begin to look inside. Young people need to be trained to look inside, not to follow the stereotypes. You know, there are professional courses like he has mentioned. You know, but sir, I'm sure it's not everybody that will go in that direction of professionalism like you have done. You know, you discovered yourself early, you discovered the giftings of God within you early, and then you set out and you started. So not everybody will fit in that mold. I think our educational system somehow needs to help. Well, even without the educational system, we need to come to a point of awareness. We need to help our children from a young age to begin to look inward and ask questions. Education has to go beyond just the four walls of the university. People have got to be able to look inside and ask questions and be able to ask God, what can I do with my life that would add value and change the world?
I did not bring them here so that they will give you everything. I brought them here to give you a synopsis, just a tip of what you are going to be having access to full length on Friday, on Saturday, and then on Sunday. I'm not going to be talking on Friday. I'm not going to be talking on Saturday. I'm going to be talking on Sunday, and I will be sharing my experiences, how I started, where I got to, the challenges of my life, how I was able or have been able to overcome, how I came to zero level, how I'm building back up again, and all and all and all. So you cannot afford not to be with us this next weekend. Mr. Ajairi, I'm very, very grateful for your coming. Dr. Arifalu, see you on Saturday. So see you on Friday, see you on Saturday. I will go on a short break. When I return, we'll now be talking stocks, which is our main area of expertise. Don't change this channel. I will be right back.
Fair Havens Christian Center presents Youth in Leadership and Exploits Conference 2021. Theme: Emerging a Leader and Financial Giant. Speakers include Vincent Arifalo, Olumide Adeleye, Adeolu Akinyemi, Adedeji Ajadi. Date: Friday 24th to Sunday 26th September 2021. Venue: Chapel of Impartation, Fair Havens Christian Center, 95 Ipaja Road, Shofunde Bus Stop, Okekoto, Agege, Lagos. Time: 6 p.m. on Friday, 11 a.m. on Saturday, 9 a.m. on Sunday. Come and learn how to emerge a financial giant in the new age. Powered by Fair Havens Christian Center.